MakingAScene.org brings you The Live Show is not just a night out. It is the front door to your whole music business. Look, if you're an independent artist, you already know the grind. You book the gigs, you literally play your heart out, you pack up the van at 2 in the morning, and then you wake up the next day just hoping the algorithm decides to show your next post to the very people who are standing right in your front row. It is totally exhausting, right? An absolute algorithmic hamster wheel. But what if I told you there is an ultimate cheat code to escape it? Well, today, in this explainer, we're going to look at a revolutionary system to take back your power and completely transform your touring strategy. I really want you to let that manifesto sink in for a second, because that quote from MakingAScene.org, that is going to be the bedrock for everything we cover today. It is time to absolutely stop treating your gigs as isolated, single transaction nights. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for completely restructuring your entire live touring business model. We've got 1. The live show paradigm shift. 2. The fan capture system. 3. Emotional architecture and set lists. 4. The merch table meet and greet. 5. Turning memory into product. And finally, 6. The artist-owned ecosystem. Let's get right to it.
Starting off with part 1, the live show paradigm shift, rethinking the gig.
And this brilliantly illustrates the big mindset shift we need. We've all been there, haven't we? The tired backs, the ringing ears, the endless cups of lukewarm gas station coffee. The traditional industry basically conditions you to focus entirely on just selling the ticket. On the left side here, we see that old model. A fan buys a ticket, you play the show, everybody goes home. It is purely transactional. But look at the right. The new model transforms that exact same ticket sale into a fan capture event that feeds your own ecosystem. In this mindset, that ticket sale is literally only the first dollar. Now notice this concept of fan leakage. Think about it. A fan leaves their house, they pay for parking, and they give you their undivided attention for a solid hour or two. They are highly invested. But if you don't have a permission-based capture system in place, they walk out that venue door and vanish right back into the algorithmic swamp. Poof, gone. They just become inventory for Spotify or Instagram, where you are forced to constantly beg an algorithm just to reach them again. We have got to stop that leak. Which brings us to section 2, the fan capture system, permission and tech. So we know we need to stop fan leakage, right? Let's look at the practical tools to capture that connection, starting with the device that is already in literally everyone's pocket. How do we replace the classic coffee-stained mailing list clipboard? I mean, we all love the nostalgia of it for sure, but trying to decipher messy handwriting at the end of the night is absolutely no way to run a modern business. The answer is incredibly simple and vastly superior. It is the QR code. You put it on the merch table, project it on a screen, maybe even put it by the bathroom line. But here is the catch. You do not send that QR code to a generic link tree full of a million distractions. You send them to a very specific destination. And one of the most powerful destinations you can use is what is called a fan passport. MakingAScene.org really highlights the psychology here, and it is brilliant. Nobody wants to join a mailing list. That sounds like homework. But fans absolutely do want to claim a passport stamp. They want a souvenir. They want tangible proof that they were part of your story that night. By framing your data capture as a fan passport, you are turning their participation into a really memorable experience for them and highly usable routing and merch data for you. To make this happen, MakingAScene.org lays out some super straightforward tech options. You can use tools like Bitly or QR Code Monkey to generate your codes. But importantly, those codes must point to an owned splash page, something like a WordPress site using the newsletter plugin. Do not use rented social media real estate for this. Ask for their email, city, and state so you can actually build a real touring map. And critically, you have got to follow legal consent rules like CAN spam and FCC text guidelines. Keep it honest, folks. Tell them exactly what they are signing up for and add clear consent checkboxes. Remember, the fan is a real person, not just a marketing lead. Moving right along to section 3, emotional architecture and set lists, beyond tempo. Now, you might be wondering, how on earth does a set list connect to a tech ecosystem? Well, your live performance isn't just about playing songs in a specific key or tempo. It actively serves the business system we are building through something called emotional architecture. I want you to think of yourself like a filmmaker or a stand-up comedian. You aren't just playing tracks, you're intentionally controlling tension, release, and connection. You are taking the audience on an emotional journey. And the more powerful that emotional experience is, the more likely the fan is to actually take a post-show action. So the crucial point is exactly how a set list maps directly to a business plan without sacrificing 1 ounce of artistic integrity. As you can see here, your opener grabs their attention. Then, by song 2 or 3, you announce a free download offer if they scan the QR code. The emotional centerpiece of the set? That is when you invite them to unlock their fan passport. And that massive, unforgettable encore? It perfectly paves the way for a paid download of the whole show later on. Every single song serves the journey, and that journey feeds your ecosystem. Next up, Section 4. The Merch Table Meet and Greet. Human Connections. If you are treating your merch table as an afterthought, you are literally leaving massive amounts of relationship capital on the floor. It is, without a doubt, the most important room in the building for cementing that physical-to-digital bond. Look, a basic store is just a folding table with a cash box while the band hides backstage or out in the van. But a meet and greet? That involves real handshakes, taking photos, and actually asking your fans which song hit them the hardest. Never hide in the van. Being physically at that table creates the genuine emotional heat that drives digital sales and cements lifelong fandom. You're inviting them in, not just selling to them. And when you integrate the right tools, things like WooCommerce, Shopify POS, or Square POS, your merch table becomes incredibly dynamic. Think about the fan who missed the table because the line was way too long, or the person whose size was completely sold out. In the old model, well, that's just a lost sale. But in this new ecosystem, because you captured their email with a QR code earlier, that is simply a delayed customer. You can send a city-specific follow-up email the very next day saying something like, "Hey Atlanta, you were so loud last night. Here is a link to the tour shirt in case your size sold out." See, that is service, not spam.
All right, moving into Section 5, turning memory into product, the live recording.
This right here is the ultimate product launch. You're taking the highly specific, completely unrepeatable memory of that exact night and turning it into a sellable asset. You aren't just selling audio, you are literally selling the night back to the people who actually lived it. Makingascene.org highlights some incredibly accessible tech tools to pull this off. You can use a digital mixer like a Behringer XR18 or an ARTS-8 splitter to capture multi-tracks directly. Crucially, though, always use an audience room mic to capture the applause, the laughter, that natural glue of the space. That is the human fingerprint that streaming platforms just cannot manufacture. Then, use your downtime in the van to mix it on a DAW like Fender Studio Pro. And please, if you are doing covers, handle your mechanical licenses through Harry Fox or Songfile like a grown-up business owner. Do the paperwork. Now, I really want you to pay close attention to this number, 72. That is the maximum number of hours before the emotional heat of a live show starts to cool down. When it comes to delivering that live recording, speed is absolutely more important than perfection. Fans don't expect $1 million polished concert film from a club gig. They expect the raw honesty of the night they actually attended. So mix it in the van and get that free track out within 24 to 72 hours while the connection is still red hot.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, the artist-owned ecosystem, the post-show workflow.
Let's move to and see how this builds all these abstract concepts together into a concrete, easy-to-visualize scenario that keeps you off that algorithmic treadmill for good. Imagine this. Step 1. The fan scans the QR code at the show to get a free song. Step 2. Your automated email delivers that free live track, proving right away that you keep your promises. Step 3. A couple of days later, you send an offer for the full, paid live show via Bandcamp or WooCommerce. And Step 4, you send a follow-up email for any merch they might have missed. Look at what just happened. One single night of live music just created continuous digital infrastructure, valuable data, and totally new revenue streams.
Make sure you check out the other great articles and resources on makingascene.org, the place the indie artist goes to build the new music industry. We have covered a massive shift in this explainer today, moving from just playing gigs to actually building a sustainable artist-owned economy. So the next time you step off stage, wipe the sweat from your brow, and look out at the empty room, I really want you to ask yourself a provocative question. Did your business for the night just end, or did it just begin?